choice. Tim Kaine. Nobody even knows who he is. No. He's done a terrible job for Virginia. I assumed they said, oh, he picked, he got picked because of Virginia, because Virginia's very important, and I'm doing very well here. Hey, I'm employing a lot of people here, and they don't employ anybody. I spent a lot of money in Potomac Falls, Sterling, that area. I mean, I spent a lot of money. We have great, great things happening. Next year, we have the Senior PGA Championship coming. Thousands and thousands of people will come into Virginia and spend a lot of money. Thank you. I love you too, darling. But just think of it. So Hillary Clinton has almost 50% of the people want a progressive. Okay, we don't have to like that, but that's okay. That's where they are. They want to give everything away and raise your taxes. That's what happens. No. She will have a tax raise. By the way, I have the largest tax cut of anybody running for office, Republican or Democrat, okay? But Hillary Clinton will have a tax cut that is not there. It's going to be a tax cut times 20 in reverse, like a rocket ship. We have the biggest tax cut proposed, I guess, in the last 4 years, and we're going to get it through. At least we're going to get most of it through. I'll tell you what, I'm going to try and get all of it through. But we have, and it's policy, it's, put out there. That doesn't mean there's not a little negotiation, because we're going to have to negotiate. But we're going to have it go. Hillary Clinton's going to have one of the biggest tax increases in the history of our country, because what she's proposing, you're going to have to pay for. Very simple. Very simple. Now, maybe she'll, after she gets rid of Bernie, get rid of all this stuff. Okay, it doesn't help you, by the way. But what she's proposing, she needs to have a massive, massive tax increase. Now, nobody ever talks about that. Do you notice she never talks about who's going to pay for it and how they're going to pay? But just statistically, she's going to need a very major tax cut. But here's something to me that's very interesting. 50% of that party is Bernie Sanders, almost. And they're very passionate. And that's a much more passionate side. Her people, they fall asleep. Okay, they fall asleep. They're watching a... With Bernie's people, they're really out there. They say what you want about Bernie Sanders. He got it on free trade. He got it. Free trade. Now, I'm a free trader. I believe in free trade. They get it all wrong because they just don't say it properly. But I want smart trade. I want to trade with other countries. But I don't want to lose $500 billion a year with China. Thank you, China. We love you very much, but we're not going to lose $500 billion a year. And I don't want to have a trade imbalance with Japan where they send us millions of cars and we send them some beef. And then they send it back, right? And then we send some wheat. They send cars, we send wheat. Sounds like we got to send a lot of wheat, right? The trade imbalance is massive. And with Mexico, we have an unbelievably big trade amount. So they kill us at the border. They kill us. They're killing us at the border. And we have one of the biggest trade imbalances. And what happens? What happens? I'm not even including the drugs, right? The drugs are pouring across. I won the state of New Hampshire. And I got very, very friendly with the people in New Hampshire. I'll never forget them, because that's an amazing group of people. And I said, what's your biggest problem? They said, heroin pouring across the southern border. I said, heroin, New Hampshire, because you look at New Hampshire, it's so beautiful with the lakes and the little beautiful roads and the trees and the forests. I say, you don't have heroin. I said, you have. They said, Mr. Trump, you have no idea. It's one of the worst areas for that. It comes pouring across the southern border. I said, you know what? If I win, I'm going to fix that problem. Well, I am going to fix that problem. I'm going to fix that problem. And one of the ways, I appreciate that. I always like to say if I win, because honestly, life is a very strange thing, and I don't want to be arrogant, because I don't want to be accused by them of being arrogant. So I'll say if. But it better be when, or I'm going to be very angry at you folks from Virginia. From Virginia. But the folks in New Hampshire, and you're having the same problems, but they're having it for whatever reason disproportionately badly. Heroin is pouring across the border, and it's going it's going all over the country, by the way. Everybody's got the problem. You buy it for less than a candy bar. And our youth is being poisoned, and plenty of other people. But our youth is being poisoned by this stuff. Heroin. And what we're going to do, thank you, And what we're going to do is, first of all, the Border Patrol agents endorsed me. 16,500. They've never done that before. And their job is easier now without Trump. Their job is easier without Trump because, you know, right now they just stand and people go by, and these are great people. I got to know them very well. The Border Patrol agents want to do their job. It's a much tougher job, probably a much more dangerous job. Would you stop people and say, sorry, folks, boom, go back? But that's more dangerous than saying, you know, we can't do anything. It's called stand back and leave them alone. Let them walk right in. How stupid are we? How stupid are we? Okay? So I spoke to them when they endorsed me. And I said, so let me ask you, a wall, how important? They said, Mr. Trump, it's very, very important. Very, very important. And they know. They know. See, I just saved $1 million. Somebody else would go out and hire a consultant who knows nothing. They'd come in from Harvard. They'd spend about a year at the border. They'd learn nothing. They'd then write this 2,000-page report that nobody will read. They'll charge you $1 million for the report, and you have no idea what just happened. As opposed to saying, like I did with the Border Patrol, is the wall good? They said, very good. They actually used an interesting expression. They said it's a vital tool to turn things around. It was a very interesting expression. They didn't say great, bad. They just said it's a vital tool, Mr. Trump, to turn things around, especially the drug traffic, because it's very tough. And we can build that wall so easily. And by the way, Mexico is going to pay for the wall, you know, just because. They're going to pay for the wall. And we got great marks on the speech the other night, and everyone did. Everybody did so great. We had that, by the way, I have to say, the Republican National Convention was such a tremendous success. It was so great. I mean, we had a couple of people that I think probably destroyed their careers, but who knows? But honestly, that was such an incredible success. And look at what's going on in Philadelphia. That was such a beautiful deal. The city of Cleveland was great. The law enforcement was unbelievable. We had no riots. We had no nothing. It was unbelievable. I'll never forget it as long as I live. It was unbelievable. And I made a speech. And I have to tell you, because I figured this wouldn't happen, because I could, if I made a speech, if I gave the Gettysburg Address as good as anybody could possibly get, I figured, you know, you always get knocked. I got great reviews on the speech. I got great reviews. We got standing ovations. Some people said, well, the speech was a little long. That's because we had 26 or 27 minutes of, like, standing ovations. We had applause. And I had a great time doing it because I'm talking about something that I love. We're in a movement, folks. This is a movement. This isn't just, I love what we're doing together, right? I love what we're doing together. I love it. And what I have to say is this. So Hillary Clinton has bad judgment. She shouldn't have picked this guy. Big mistake. Because he is the exact opposite what all of the Bernie people want. Now, if he got 2% of the vote, or 5% of the vote, or 20% of the vote, but you know what? He almost beat her. If the system wasn't gamed, he would have beat her. He would have beaten her. Now think of this. So instead of picking somebody, and you don't have to go with Pocahontas, you don't have to go that far, who, by the way, who hasn't done anything. She is the worst senator in the U.S. Senate. You know, she's got a fresh mouth. Other than that, she's got nothing going. She has done nothing in the U.S. Senate. But you don't have to pick her. But you could have picked a liberal person, and we understand it. We can live with it. And you know, she could have had party unity. Instead, they have thousands and thousands of people going crazy because she didn't pick somebody representative. She didn't pick somebody representative of what's going on. Let's look again. She's got bad judgment. Whether it's Libya, whether it's Benghazi, whether it's at night with the calls, everybody's calling. The only call she answers is her friend calls. She picks that one up. But she doesn't pick up the calls for help. She's got bad judgment. Bernie Sanders said she's got bad judgment. She's got bad judgment when it came to picking a vice presidential candidate for that side of the party. I actually just asked Mike Pence, I said, Mike, do you think she's going to be forced to change? Because honestly, now, I wouldn't pick him. I wouldn't pick him for a different reason, though. You know why I wouldn't pick him? So Mike Pence in Indiana has done an unbelievable job. A AAA bond rating, so many different things, job creation, top in virtually every category, right toward the top, at the top. Listen to this. During Tim Kaine's tenure as governor of Virginia, plus he's not very popular, I thought that I would see polls saying he's at 85% and Trump is going to lose Virginia. People don't even like the guy. And he's a little weird little dude there. I don't know what's going on with him. During Tim Kaine's tenure as governor of Virginia, from 2006 to 2010, the unemployment rate of the state more than doubled. So I immediately went back to my statistician. I said, listen, do me a favor. Will you please check it? He came back. He said, hey, maybe he's wrong, but more than doubled. This is your great governor, right? Now, Governor Mike Pence cut unemployment rate from 8.4% to less than 5%. Quickly. Since 2013, Indiana has gone from 31st in the nation for veterans unemployment to second, and it's going to go to first. Okay? Veterans unemployment. During Tim Kaine, that's the guy that bad judgment, crooked, Hillary Clinton, bad judgment, such bad judgment. We can't have another president with bad judgment. We can't do it. During Tim Kaine's tenure as governor, the state of Virginia lost 60,000 manufacturing jobs. Now, Indiana gained 30,000. Now it's a different time and different everything. He was, so I'm not comparing. They're not, because they'll say, well, one was here and one was there. But I'll tell you, if Mike Pence or me was running Virginia, we'd do great. This guy did a lousy job. You know why? He's a political hack. That's why. He's a political hack. Look what he's done. Look what he's done. He's always been in politics. He likes politics. He wants to be in politics always. Okay. During Tim Kaine's tenure as governor of Virginia, it averaged almost no GDP growth. And Indiana, as you know, is doing great. I mean, think of it. Here's a beauty. Okay. Nobody is going to vote for Tim Kaine when you hear this one, okay? Tim Kaine. I never even heard of this guy, but that's okay. Less than a week after Tim Kaine became governor of Virginia, 1 week, he proposed a nearly $4 billion tax increase. $4 billion! Including a tax increase on people earning as little as $17,000 a year. He tried to pass transportation reform. He failed, whereas Mike Pence had tremendous luck. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. So a $4 billion tax increase his first week. Do we want this as a president? No. Now, look, hopefully we don't have to worry about it. I will say this. Virginia has lost 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs since Bill Clinton. These are my statisticians. They're great. Signed the agreement to put China into the World Trade Organization. Don't forget, he did that. But Bill Clinton signed something that was the worst trade bill ever in the history of this country, okay? In the history of this country. NAFTA. That was Bill Clinton. People don't realize. I'll tell you a little joke. See how hot it is, everyone? Everyone's sweating and soaking wet, right? Here's the difference. I wouldn't pay the hotel bill. I'd say, we're in a hotel, we're in a ballroom, and you know what? Now, these are grown companies. We're in a ballroom, and if we're in a ballroom, it's not supposed to be so hot that everybody in the audience is using as a fan. So what they do is they turn the air conditioning down because they save money. So then, I would not pay them. And you know what I do? I pay my bills so fast with somebody good. With somebody average, I pay them okay. with somebody great, a lot of times I give them bonuses. But here we are in a ballroom, and I feel like I'm in a sauna, okay? Right? Right? So I don't know what hotel this is, but you ought to try turning on the air conditioning or we're not going to get you paid. These people. Am I right? It's hot. Just so you know, I'm really good at this business. You make a lot more money if you own a hotel and you let people suffer and don't turn on air conditioning. You make a lot more money. You would be surprised at how much it costs. But this is ridiculous. And so then there'll be an article. Donald Trump refuses to pay the bill. Of course. And you know what? The smart people say Trump is smart. The other people would say, oh, isn't that terrible, okay? I think the ballroom and the people that own this hotel should be ashamed of themselves. All right. So look. So Virginia lost 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs since the Bill Clinton bill. Hillary supported China's entry into WTO. Roanoke, which is a beautiful place, by the way, has lost and I've been here many times, has lost 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs, okay, since the Clinton disasters. Last year, the U.S. trade deficit with TPP countries, I mean, I could go into this, I could read this stuff to you. It gets a little boring after a while, but it's all the same thing. We have Hillary Clinton wanted to approve TPP, that's Trans-Pacific Partnership. And then I announced that I'm against it. And then she heard me making a speech. This is what I've heard, a friend of mine told me. And I basically said the various reasons, including monetary manipulation, currency manipulation, et cetera, why it's no good. Why it will be another NAFTA, but maybe even worse. Can't be worse, but it'll be as bad. Okay, different countries, but it'll be as bad. And she heard me. And she said, oh, he'll kill me in the debate. So what happened is she all of a sudden came out against TPP. But as sure as you're sitting there, she's going to approve TPP. If she won, she will approve it. She'll make a change. She'll make a comma. She'll say, move that comma. Oh, now I can do it. Okay, folks, 6,000 pages of material that most people haven't read. It is a disaster. Trans-Pacific Partnership is a disaster. You can't let it happen. We will never let it happen. I will never, ever let it happen. And I don't want to make deals with many countries. I want to do one-on-one deals, one-on-one. You got to see this deal. It's like a fancy jigsaw puzzle. Lines going here, here, there. So if one of the country misbehaves, you can't do anything because you're sort of locked up into this very complex agreement. And believe me, it's just like Obamacare. Thousands of pages, and nobody in Congress read it. And now it's a disaster. And we will repeal it and replace it with something fabulous, okay? All right? But we're going to have something that's going to be very special. And I have to tell you, I appreciate you all being here. And I really wish, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate the folks in the room next door, which is almost as big as this, and it's packed also. And even more than you folks, I appreciate the people standing outside at 104. They're dying. They're dying. Although I venture to say that they're more comfortable than I am right now. It's probably, I think it's actually cooler outside than it is in this damn ballroom. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But you know what, I'll tell you, you know what I love? Look at this room, it's packed. You know what I love? And the other room's packed. What I love? Nobody left, not one person. I always watch the doors. If I see doors starting to open, people pouring out, I usually stop. But that never happens with me, never, ever. But I stop, nobody leaves. Because you know what, we're in this together. We're in this together. This is a movement. So Time Magazine just did another cover. I talk about it. You saw the one from the back of my head, right? It's pretty full back there, you know. Could be better. Could be better, but not bad. But a picture from the back of my head. The guy was standing right over me with a camera like this. I studied that picture very closely. I didn't read the story, but I did study the picture. No, I think that's number 5 or 6 that we've had. So I think I've had 2 in my lifetime and 5 or 6 in the last few months where You know, we had this incredible thing going on. And they call it a movement. And Bill O'Reilly calls it a movement. He's never seen anything like it. He said in his professional career, in his whole lifetime, he actually said, this is the single greatest political phenomenon that he's ever witnessed. And Britt Hume said it, and a lot of people have said it. And I really mean this. It's not about me, it's about you. I'm a messenger. There's a group of people in this country that's massive. You know, they used to call it a silent majority. I don't use the term. It's a noisy majority because we've had it. We've had it with the Iran deal. We've had it with our depleted military. We've had it with no borders. We've had it with education where we're ranked right near the bottom. We're doing horribly. We've had it where they want to essentially abolish your Second Amendment. You have no protection for yourselves, all right? We've had it. And by the way, the NRA endorsed me, and they're great people, 100%. And the evangelicals, how many evangelicals do we have in here? You better get out and vote, because you didn't vote for Romney, and you better get out and vote for me. You know, we have the Johnson Amendment, where Lyndon Johnson, who is very powerful, put an amendment where basically our pastors, our ministers, and all religions, they don't have the right to speak up. And I had a meeting. I was telling Franklin Graham, who's a great guy. I was telling Jerry Falwell Jr., who's a great guy. Great guy. Past folks, can you endorse? Why? Because we'll lose our tax-exempt status. I said, why? Now, no, to me. They will tax-exempt status.
All right, folks, we're going to go now to live breaking news there. As you can see, we're having a little problem once again with the Donald Trump feed in Virginia, but this is back in Arizona right now where there is a hiker rescue going on for about 3 people that needed to be helped down the mountain. Heat exhaustion playing a big role. We do have Donald Trump back. We'll go to that for a little bit.
It's their voice. And don't kid yourself. That's what's happening to religion in this country, because you see the same numbers that I see. So I think this, if you're evangelical, if you're Christian, if you're Jewish, if you have religion, you better go out and vote for Trump, because this is going to be the last chance you ever get to get this thing done. Okay? Better. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I said in my, I will say this. I will say this. I said in my speech the other night, and I meant it, I thanked the evangelicals because I won. I got these tremendous votes. They say, Trump can't win South Carolina, right? I said, why? Because I'd have these tremendous crowds. I won with the evangelicals. I won all over with the evangelicals. Because they get it. They're smart. They understand. They know I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. But they know I love them. And they know I'm going to fight for them. Better than somebody that is perfect. Okay? I'm going to fight for them. And I'm going to fight for other religions. I'm going to fight for people to be able to speak. And actually, when they said this to me, I was in an office building very high up, and I'm looking down. And I said to these powerful pastors and these powerful men and women, just powerful people with tremendous strength and energy and conviction. And they're in the room, and it was beautiful, the voices. And I said, but that means that you're less powerful than those people walking down the street. I pointed to the street. Because they have a right to talk, and you don't. You don't have your right to talk, okay? And that's our religion. That's our religion. In my case, I'm Presbyterian. I'm Protestant. But that's our religion. And my minister, who I like a lot, doesn't have the right to speak. We're going to end that, folks. You got one chance. We're going to end it. So you better go back to your churches, and you better get everybody to vote. Because 4 years ago, they didn't get up, and they didn't vote for Romney. And to this day, a lot of people don't understand it. And some people do understand it, frankly. But you better get up, and you better vote. Because if you vote, if you think about it, if you take Christian, Jewish, take some of the Catholic, take the religions, it's bigger than men and it's bigger than women, right? It's bigger than men. You know, men are 50%, women are 50%. The religion's like what, 80%, right? If you get up and vote, we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to free up great people to go and speak what they want to speak about, and they should be able to speak, okay? It's very important. So just a couple of things, and I'd like to bring Mike up. Just a couple of things. We are going to strengthen our military. Our military is really depleted. It's not good. I didn't want to go into Iraq. We got there. I said, keep the oil. They didn't keep the oil. These people don't know what they're doing. You know, in the old days, you're in a war. To the victor belong the spoils, right? Today, we get nothing. Trillions of dollars in cost, thousands and thousands of lives lost. We got nothing. Iraq is a disaster. The Middle East is worse now than it was 15 years ago by a factor of 20. Okay, if we would have done nothing, we would have been much better off. We got to build up our military. We never needed it so much. We never needed our military so much. So we're going to take care of our country. We're going to take care of our vets. We're going to take care of our people. We're going to make America great again. And I have to tell you, one of the really good decisions, because I laugh when they say, do you think Mr. Trump likes Governor Mike Pence? I love this guy. He's great. He's great. And everybody does. I'm getting such great marks and such great reviews. Unlike Hillary, did I ask you before, do you think she'll change? He looked at me and said, no way, because it's hard to do, right? She may be forced to change. He actually, I'll tell you, Tim Kaine stands for the exact opposite of all of the Bernie Sanders people. I mean, it's ridiculous what she did. Again, bad judgment. So I'm going to have Mike say just a few of the final words, and I'm going to sit down and watch him. He is some great person. He's got some wonderful family, and we are having such fun going all over the place. And so Mike can finish off, and I want to thank you, folks. Thank you. Hey, Mike, you know what's funny? Some of the great musicians have said, never do an encore when you get a great hit. So look how strong this is. Everyone's standing, everyone go. Now if we do an encore, we'll get a couple of bad questions. We'll walk out, they'll say they weren't so great, right? But we'll do it anyway, right? Do it anyway. So Mike was just asking if we'd want to take some questions.
Yeah,
if
why don't
you
we
guys
take
want to
some
ask a
questions
couple
from
of
the
questions,
crowd?
fine. You go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, we've got, how about one more time for Donald Trump, everybody? Bringing the heat today. Isn't that great? Bringing the real heat. They've got some people out here that have, we got microphones. Get your hand in the air. We'll take a few questions. And ready right here? Okay, right over here.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I support
go
you
ahead.
very much, Mr. Trump. Thank you. What do you want to do for the youth? How are you going to make the community safer for us?
We're going to work. One thing we have to do for the youth, and it's a question I get asked, Mike, more than any other question. We have young, fantastic people going to college, and they're choking on their debt, okay? They're choking on debt. They haven't started life yet, and some of them have given up before they started because they see no way. We're going to work on a plan, and we're working on it now, so that we can help young people get through college and not die virtually. I mean, some of these kids, what they're doing is incredible. The massive depression that's going on because they see no way of ever being able to pay it back. Now, part of that's going to be jobs, but we're working on a plan now to take care of youth with respect to college debt. We're going to work on a very good plan. We have to. We have to.
And let me tell you, Donald was very kind to mention My wife, Karen Pence, and our recent college graduate daughter, Charlotte Pence, are with us today. Would you welcome them? And I will tell you, the focus on college debt is something we've been focused on in the state of Indiana, focusing on-time completion, right? I mean, 4 years costs less than 5 years, 3 years costs less than 4 years. But the best thing Donald Trump will do for the youth of America is get this economy moving again and create jobs and opportunities for young people coming out of high school, coming out of the trades, and coming out of college. Another one.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Trump, for being here in Virginia, and I apologize for the heat, but I do have a question for you.
Do you own the hotel?
Sir, if I owned this hotel, it would be 60 degrees in here, because that's just... But, Mr. Trump, with all things, God knows with all things possible, we're praying that you are our president come November. The question for you, Mr. Trump, is will you stand by Israel 100% and do whatever it takes to preserve the nation of God? Yes.
100%. We have to stand by Israel. 100%. Yes. Yes. Hello.
Hello. I have one question for you, Mr. Trump.
These are usually the toughest questions.
What's your name, son? What's your name?
Jacob
Jacob?
Jones.
Jacob
Jones.
Jones? Hey, Jake, go ahead.
I have one question for you, Mr. Trump. Now, when you were in office, what will be the timeline for that wall that you were talking about?
He knows. He knows. Jacob, that wall will go up so fast and be so big and powerful and as good looking as we can make it that your head will spin, okay? Believe me, it's going to go up fast. Thank you.
Next question.
Go ahead. How about over here? Go ahead, Chair. Congratulations.
I have a small business in Roanoke, an upholstery shop. What are you going to do for businesses like us who is just 1 or 2 or 3 people working?
Cut your taxes and no more crazy regulations, okay?
Thank you.
Big, right?
Thank you. That's
All
what
right?
I want.
The regulations are out of control. You know, Mike, so I've been all over the country, and I would have always said taxes would be like the biggest thing. If I had my guess, I would say that people are more angry about regulations than the fact that we pay among the highest taxes in the world.
That's right.
So we'll cut the regulations, okay?
Yeah. Can I also say I grew up in a small business family in a small town in southern Indiana. And one of the reasons after I became governor of Indiana, the first thing we did was we cut taxes across the board. We cut the income taxes because what this businessman knows is most small business owners file their taxes as individuals. And so with the Trump plan to cut taxes, we're going to lower taxes on individuals, we're going to lower taxes on small business, and I promise you this man's going to repeal Obamacare lock, stock, and barrel. We're going to get red tape off your back and let you grow.
Okay. How about one more question?
One more.
One more.
All right, folks, we are going to go now to live in Philadelphia, where the DNC is about to begin.